Ladies and gentlemen, Verity's Brow is a Warlock exotic that I've spent limited time with, for two reasons mainly. I kinda have my core set of exotics that I like to use established. They work just fine for me, and I really had no reason to look elsewhere. But also, walking around with a petrified hunk of dinosaur poo strapped to my face wasn't really something I was into. But there's actually a good bit going on with Verity's Brow, and it's probably an exotic that I should have paid a little more attention to over the years. On a surface level, it's pretty simple. Throw more grenades, throw stronger grenades. But if your brain works in a similar manner to mine, and you start asking questions like how or how much, there's a lot to look at. So we'll dive into Verity's Brow, and check out exactly what this exotic can do, and how we can benefit from using it in both PvP and PvE. And if at any point you find this video useful, helpful, or enjoyable, please remember to leave it a like, and consider subscribing to the Ironworker Gaming channel if you're not already. But only do so if you feel like the content is good enough to warrant your support. But let's get into the review and start digging into Verity's Brow. Verity's Brow is an exotic helmet for the Warlock class, and does have the ability to pair with any of the 4 available subclasses in the game currently. If you don't have this exotic yet, it is a random world drop, or it could be purchased from Xur if he happens to be selling it on a given week. The exotic perk on this armor piece is the 4th magic, stating, energy weapon kills grant death throws, which provide a bonus to the damage of your grenade, and grants you grenade energy. When you have death throws and throw a grenade, nearby allies gain greatly increased grenade regeneration for a short period of time. So there's actually 4 individual things that we need to look at here. 1. How exactly does death throws work? 2. How much damage are we gaining? 3. How much time will this exotic shave off our grenade cooldown? And 4. How much grenade energy will our teammates see from us using this exotic? Alright, we'll start out with some general functionality. When you down an enemy with your energy weapon, you will gain 1 stack of death throws. Each stack is a 10-second expiration timer, and subsequent kills will fully reset the countdown. You can accumulate a maximum of 5 stacks and retain them indefinitely as long as you're securing kills with your energy weapon. Meaning the weapon in this slot right here. Heavies are technically an energy weapon in the sense that they do carry an elemental affinity, but heavy weapon kills will not award stacks of death throws. And you can't cheat the system here by equipping a kinetic weapon with osmosis. I burned my grenade, turned this dire promise into a solar weapon, and no stacks are awarded on a kill. And you're not going to see any increased benefits from running a special energy weapon, or for killing higher tier enemies. You're still only going to gain 1 stack. For the grenade energy regeneration, anytime you have a stack of death throws active, your grenade energy will see a boost. But the more stacks you have accumulated at one time will result in a faster grenade cooldown. Right here on screen, I'm trying to space these kills out a little bit, so you can kind of see and gauge the jumps in the grenade meter. If you notice, those refresh ticks are speeding up in frequency a bit as we build our stacks. To try and get some sort of measurement on this, I ran a test at 2 different discipline tiers, and I did make sure there was absolutely nothing boosting my grenade regen except for Verity's Brow. At tier 2 discipline, my grenade cooldown is 1 minute and 25 seconds, and this is on a light base subclass. Stasis subclasses inherently do have longer ability cooldowns. All I did was simply kill 5 enemies, gaining 5 stacks of death throws, and waited. My grenade energy was fully refilled in about 49 seconds. That's a 36-second improvement from the base cooldown. Repeating the same process, but this time at tier 7 discipline, which has a base cooldown of 45 seconds. After acquiring 5 stacks of death throws and waiting around for just a few moments, my grenade was up and ready to roll in just over 24 seconds. This is about a 21-second cooldown reduction, almost cutting that cooldown time in half. And just keep in mind there is a little bit of human error involved here because I didn't acquire each stack at exactly the same time, but they should give you a general sense of what this exotic can do. But I just wanted to try something on a lowball discipline tier, so I knocked myself back down to tier 2, and I wanted to see how quickly I could get my grenade back if I didn't let those stacks expire. So I gathered 5 stacks, then cast my grenade to get the full effect of the ability regen. Ends up, I saw my grenade fully refreshed in 23.8 seconds, a very substantial reduction from the base cooldown. Stasis users, I didn't forget about ya. I repeated the same process at tier 2 discipline on a Stasis subclass, so you're looking at a very lengthy 2 minute and 5 second base cooldown. With acquiring 5 stacks and maintaining 5 stacks, my Duskfield grenade was up and ready to cast again in 27 seconds. That just shaved 1 minute and 38 seconds off of the grenade cooldown, which is absurd. So if you want to throw lots of Stasis grenades, Verity Brow's looking like a pretty good pick. Checking in on the grenade energy regen that we can provide for our allies. We're going to move over to Agent Sparkle's perspective so you can see what's going on here. When I cast my grenade with a stack of death throws, the Field of Flames buff will activate. It's going to appear on both yours and your allies' screens, but only your teammates are going to reap the benefits from this. We tested this a few different times, with different amounts of stacks and varying discipline tiers. Nothing made a difference. If I had one stack of death throws and I threw my grenade, Feed the Flames gave Agent Sparkles one half of her grenade energy back. If I had 5 stacks of death throws, Feed the Flames gave Agent Sparkles half of her grenade energy back. So it's a flat rate. On to the damage increase though. I swapped over to Top Tree Dawnblade with a fusion grenade to measure things just for simplicity's sake. At base, with no stacks gathered. Against Carl, this fusion grenade is totaling out to 29,786 points of damage. With 1 stack of death throws, the damage increased to 32,775. At 2 stacks, 35,753. With 3 stacks, 38,714. With 4 stacks, 41,713. So each stack is increasing an additional 10% from the base value. So at 5 stacks, where we're seeing a 50% damage increase, we're dealing 44,692 points of damage. And I'd say that's a pretty good chunk just for spraying down 5 trash ads before throwing our grenade. But as a Top Tree Voidwalker main, I knew I could do better. A Vortex Grenade at base will deal 40,072 points of damage to Carl if he eats every last shred of the damage. That being the impact, the blast, and all 12 damage ticks. But if I were to charge up my Vortex Grenade with Chaos Accelerant, the total damage output we're looking at here is 50,774. Now if we roll that charged Vortex Grenade in with 5 stacks of death throws and the 50% damage boost, we're seeing 75,981 points of damage from a single grenade. That's up there in the territory of rocket launcher damage output, so not too shabby. And since we're on the topic of damage, let's hop over to PvP. Using our Top Tree Dawnblade Fusion Grenade once again for testing, at base, this grenade explodes for 150 points of damage. 1 stack results in 165 points of damage, with 2 stacks, 180, 3 stacks, 195, 4 stacks, 210, and with 5 stacks, 225 points of damage. I'm sure you've noticed a pattern. It's still a 10% damage increase for each stack. And I'm not going to cover every grenade at our disposal here, but since we're increasing by a set percentage every time, it's not all that hard to figure out how much damage you can expect to see from your preferred grenade. And to see if the grenade energy regen lines up as well, I simply killed 1 enemy in PvP and 1 enemy in PvE. In both cases, at tier 7 discipline, I saw my grenade back in 43 seconds. So this exotic translates perfectly from one side of the game to the other. And I think that finally does it for our testing. So I'll give you some quick thoughts on this exotic, maybe a few suggestions to pair with it, and then we'll get things wrapped up. So like I said in the intro, Verity's Brow lets you throw more grenades and stronger grenades, and both your grenade uptime and damage output are greatly improved. As we saw in the testing, even at tier 2 discipline, we could potentially have our grenade back in under 25 seconds. So really, as long as there's ads around for you to kill with your energy weapon, your discipline tier basically is a non-factor, giving you the freedom to spec into other stat categories. Plus, we're seeing an incredible amount of time cut off your Stasis grenade cooldown. And while Stasis grenades don't make much use of the damage increase, if you're running the Whisper of Hedron's Fragment, that's a 25% weapon damage buff that'll be accessible much more often. And if you want to reduce your grenade cooldown even further, you could run an energy weapon equipped with Demolitionist. Try out the Elemental Ordnance Well System mod, Impact Induction on your arms, Innervation or Absolution on your legs, Bomber on your class armor. All can significantly reduce an already extremely fast grenade cooldown. And since your grenades are much more lethal, and up nearly all the time, you might as well bolster your super with them. Ashes to Assets on the helmet works fantastic for this. If you can swing it, run 2 copies. You could also give the energy converter Charged with Light mod a try. Also, any energy weapon that thrives in clearing ads, even if it doesn't have Demolitionist, will work great. I was running Trinity Ghoul in this week's Nightfall, and it was pretty amazing. Not only could I disrupt Overload champions, but since it's such an enemy-dense strike, the Chain Lightning was wonderful for keeping those death throws maxed out. In terms of PvP though, this exotic doesn't really work well with my playstyle. Now the improved grenade regen is definitely nice, but I'm a more passive player. I prioritize not dying over slaying out. And I always felt like Verity's Brow wasn't benefiting me as much as another exotic could. And when I did get a stack or two of death throws built up, I found myself forcing engagements to try and take advantage of the damage bonus before the clock ran out. So if you're someone who can really pile up kills with your energy weapon in short order, this might be a nice exotic for you. But for me, in my mindset in PvP, it's just not the best fit. But hey, if you did enjoy this video, please remember to leave it a like and consider subscribing to the Ironworker Gaming channel to catch more Destiny 2 content presented by yours truly. To catch me live, I will occasionally be streaming right here on YouTube. And to contact me, you can look for Ironworker814 on Twitter, join our channel Discord, link will be in the description, or comment down below and I will do my best to get back to you. And with all that being said, I'd like to thank you for taking the time out of your day to check out this breakdown. You guys are awesome, and I will catch you on the next one.